Hey, everybody. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. That's right. It's time for another episode of Sarcastic Distractions, the interesting podcast for interesting people such as yourselves. And as always, you've got the Gentlemen's Society of Podcasting with myself, Harvey, my heterosexual life mate, David, and the ever-loving AJ.
Howdy.
And before we go any further, we just want to say a quick shout out to Mr. David Shergold. Happy birthday. You've
Why, thank you.
Yes. Turn a milestone age and had a big day, so we just thought we'd take a moment and say happy
birthday.
Happy birthday to me.
We're not going to sing. Don't worry, not yet. That's for you to do. You'll sing for us.
Yeah, that'll be the podcast, or not. That'll be the karaoke episode.
Exactly, when we get on that, for sure. But what we are here to talk about today is our favorite, probably mine, I'm pretty sure, all of our favorite pastime since we've been kids, and that is video games. We're going to talk about everything.
Boop, boop, boop,
boop, boop. Yep, we can about video games. And Dave, because it's your birthday, you are going to lead the way.
Well, really, yeah. Like more for what I was going to talk about is just those more of the oldie games. We'll talk, of course, touch on what we do nowadays. That sort of transition into what it is now, but it's and again, I don't want to get everybody on the same page as me, but I know for myself, like where I started video games, where I had video games for, I'll call it the teenage years, to kind of where I am today as far as that, hey, this is what I do with video games nowadays. And certainly that changes, I'll call it changes over the course of life.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, the games we would play when we were younger. I mean, probably would play some now, but definitely my gaming tastes have evolved as the years have gone on. I'm sure AJ could probably say the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's another reason I wanted to bring it up, because I know in my case, I think it's actually the opposite. But still, back in the day, I spent just an awful amount of time. And really, that's kind of what I wanted to touch on, like going all the way back, that whole memory thing. What are some of those first games that you kind of grew up on? Like for me, I can remember like playing Paperboy on the arcade machine while my mom did laundry at the laundry place. So it was like one of those things that just, yeah, like it was more. I can also remember, Mom.
Bugging her? Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, so I could get the quarters and stuff. But, like, that's one of the first things I really remember playing. And then, we can go on from there as we start getting that first system I actually had at home. But, yeah, going all the way back. Yeah, Paperboy, and, I think maybe a Pac-Man. I have the memory of it, but, all that good time stuff.
I remember playing Pac-Man, like my first earliest, this is my first earliest memory. Would have been similar situation. I don't know if it was a laundromat or a bar or something, but I remember trying one of those tabletop arcade machines with Mrs. Pac-Man. I don't think with Pac-Man. And that was like, I remember that was a big deal. It was like, whoa, holy smokes. And then you could play on both sides of the table for 2-player. And I was like, that was
oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is cool, actually. Shit.
Yeah, that was a big deal back in the day, for sure. But I think they're my first earliest memory.
Yeah, nice. It was probably the same for me too. Or when either that or when I got my Nintendo system.
Oh yeah,
I think I have more memories of Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt.
Nice, Duck Hunt. Oh, yeah.
Sure. I wanted to shoot the dog. I was trying to shoot but they wouldn't let you shoot the dog. But yeah,
my first system was the Master System.
Ah.
Oh,
yeah, nice.
Yeah, the Sega Master System, playing Wonder Boy. Oh, way back.
Yeah, I love Wonder Boy. That was my favorite. Oh my god.
Oh god, yeah.
Game. I would say, technically speaking, my first system, which was like our family system, was the Atari 2600.
Nice.
We had an Atari back in the day.
Wow.
But you know what though? Even though we had it, obviously I loved it because we played like Pac-Man and Joust and all those fun games. But definitely it was showing its age at that time. You know what I mean? Like I knew it could get better.
Yeah.
Right.
At that time. But we were grateful to be able to play Pong.
To play it. Oh yeah, like for me it was the Master System, and I can actually remember going over to a buddy's place. And it, it's that whole perspective thing because he had a Nintendo, and I remember thinking the Nintendo was the better system than the classic Sega Master System.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can always remember going over there and wanting to play, like the shooting games, the Mario, all those things. Whereas, I'd go home and play some Rampage, or there was a silly golf game that I would spend hours playing on.
Mhm.
Did you have Bonk's Adventure? Was that for the Master System?
That was for the TurboGrafx 16.
Oh, my bad.
Way off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never had any of those systems. Those ones that kind of showed up and disappeared.
Yeah, no, neither did I. Well, except for one, but we'll talk about that later.
Was that the CD one?
Yeah, that was the Dreamcast, like my favorite system of all time. But we'll talk.
I remember even the two of us spending a little bit of time on that.
Oh my god, I
Yeah,
loved it. I get one
money
again.
on a. I thought you were going to say you spent money on a 3DO or something.
Oh
No, how could you afford those things? Those things are insanely expensive.
Yeah.
They were
It was
bonkers.
insane. Yeah.
No, we were the same. After the Atari, we went with the NES, and like we never looked back. I think I was a Sega fan as a kid, more so. I think I liked the Master System and then the Genesis. But yeah, loved it so much. But like looking back on them now, like I loved my Nintendo and my Super Nintendo. It was like they were amazing.
I never actually had a Nintendo. Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Growing up, never had a Nintendo. Don't get me wrong though. Like I'd be at somebody's place and we'd play Nintendo. Nothing hard or anything like that. It's just for me it was the Sega Master System, then the Genesis at some point, and then of course I switched more over to the PC.
Yeah. You're a big PC gamer guy.
I am and that's what kind of get. I was a big PC gamer.
Exactly. Talk about it too. Yeah. Speaking of gaming habits, like, we'll talk about our consoles and stuff. Or unless AJ, did you want to chime in on your consoles?
I had a Nintendo when I got that when I was like 8 years old, and then the Genesis, and then my foster brothers had a Super Nintendo, so I played that.
Oh,
every so often. But I kind of fell off until the PlayStation 2. I didn't get another system.
Wow, that's a long gap. Wow.
Yeah, so I was.
I got a PlayStation 2 myself. Yeah.
I was more into I went to the arcades. I went to the pool halls.
Oh, the arcades.
So
man,
that's where I played most of my video games between 12 and 16.
See, I would say I'm about the
12
same.
and
I would say the same. We didn't because that was when we really hung out a lot, Dave, and we were always finding new places to play games. We did play at your place. I know we rented a system a couple times.
Oh, there was the moment.
I know. But for the most part, like, we were always out and we would find ways to play games.
Oh, yeah, we go to Ace's Arcade here.
Ace, I'll tell this one story because I fucking love this story so much. But it was when VR was becoming a thing again, and
Sorry,
it's no secret we would maybe sometimes skip school to go play video games. It might happen. It might have happened once or twice. But this one in particular time, we had a VR cafe opening up in London, right downtown, and none of us. It was you. It was the four of us. It was you, myself, BJ, and Phil, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I think Phil was there. BJ was definitely there
for sure. BJ was there. And what basically would happen, our local rock radio station, FM96, was having like a big promotion to celebrate the opening of a VR cafe. And we were all excited because we're such tech heads and stuff like that. And I remember our plan was to go there on our bikes before school.
Yep.
Because we were going to make it to school for first period. That was the plan.
That was the plan.
We did not at all. But we did go, and we had a killer time. We won a bunch of free stuff. We won a bunch of free, like, playtime money there, and some other, like, little gifts and things like that.
Yeah.
And then I think we got back to school by like 1. I think we pretty much missed most of the day.
I don't remember the exact time, but it was like an afternoon thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But like none of us cared because we had such a good time in these like giant robotic machines playing VR, which now you can just buy a headset.
Well, what we did back then was great, and of course now, what my son has running around with his little headset is a million times better. But
I know it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing.
we're talking about something that happened a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember VR. We didn't have that in our hometown. I grew up in a smaller hometown, but the in Winnipeg they'd have car shows or trade home shows or whatever every year, and
Nice.
yeah, I got to try the virtual reality where you stand inside the the circle
Yeah,
thing.
that's what this was
then,
for the most part.
Yeah, and you get the headset and everything
Yep.
was all
Yep.
everything was triangles and rhombuses.
Yep.
Yep.
Shit like that, and there was like one game. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Lawnmower Man.
Yes,
it was exactly very much. Yeah, exactly.
That was exactly the call out. Yeah,
For
it was
sure.
one of those things because I don't really have a memory of going back there. And of course, they went out of business maybe a year. I don't know the exact time frame.
I can't remember if we did too. If we did, I don't think we spent money because we weren't making any. So.
Oh God, no. No.
So it was really weird. But
I
Ace
spent
Arcade.
million. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, Ace Arcade.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. What were you gonna say? You spent what? Maybe what?
Well, I think we spent more money at the. I can't remember the name. There was two in London where you would go and rent time on the computer.
Microplay or
Yes,
I think
it's Microplay.
it was either Microplay or there was that other one we would go to at Westmount. Frick, what was the name? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think it was
same one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it was Microplay. I think that was a big one where we would do that. Yeah, where we would. Yeah, that was way more fun because like we loved arcades, we loved pinball, we loved video games, but it got expensive. Whereas you can just go and spend like $5 or $6.
Yeah,
and an hour and just play whatever you want. Oh, Head to Head. That was the other one. Head to Head games. Shout out to those guys. They're no longer around in London anymore, but we were there a lot too.
Well, Microplay, it's long gone too. They even took down the sign, I think, finally.
Oh, did they? But AJ? Isn't Microplay a part of Jumbo or something like that?
Yeah, they're still alive.
Really?
They're kind of like more of an EB sort of idea now.
I
they
didn't
run
know
out
that.
of Jumbo Video. Yeah.
I did not know that. Shit.
Yeah, they do like big time things. Well, when they could for like video game releases and stuff like that. Like they'd have midnight video game releases and.
Oh, nice.
That's really sweet.
When the latest Star Wars game came out, I think they did that, and they had like people dressed up in the Star Wars garb and shit like that out there.
Oh,
I would happily support those guys now, considering how much we abused that system.
We didn't abuse it. If they didn't kick us off in the hour, that's not our fault.
Oh, that's their problem, man.
That's right.
If we simply got up and went to another machine, and then got up half an hour later, went to another machine, like. The timer says right there, we've only been here for 15 minutes.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Just simple days like that.
Oh my God.
Well, it's like us. I can remember, I think we only did it the once, where everybody brought their computers to the apartment that I lived in, going back 20-ish years ago.
Yeah.
And we played there in the apartment.
Yep.
Oh,
the big old LAN.
Good old LAN parties.
Yeah, that's what it was. The LAN party. Don't get me wrong. It's one of those things. Part of my brain looks back and goes, I really want to do that again. And then the other part is like, why the fuck? I'll just play with them online. We'll chat. I'll drink my beers and go lay in my bed when we're done.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, and that's the thing. Like, you don't have to do a LAN party, although it's fun and it's great that you can do that together. It's not necessary anymore, right? And I also think too with styles of games. Like, I used to love role playing games. I played a lot of them throughout my life, but like as I'm getting older, like it's hard to put the time in for a decent role playing game, and the idea of going back and playing like some of my favorites, it's just like when? Like that's never going to happen. And I lament on some of the games. Like, I'm never going to play that again because just mostly RPGs just take for frickin' ever, right? Like they're 40, 50 plus hour games, right? So
you're talking the stoppy Final Fantasy type RPG. Where it's just like side to side, and you push buttons, and then you just watch. Yeah,
exactly. Like I was thinking too with Final Fantasy VII, if they didn't do that remake, or if let's say they did a shot-for-shot remake of the original game, like would anybody be able to play it? Because I mean, like who has the time? You know what I mean?
I'm sure there's some people out there that would sit there and toil away at it, but I wasn't a fan of those types of those games. I was a side scroller, Super Mario
Beat 'em
Brothers.
ups.
I spent lots of time playing Super Mario Brothers 3. Mega Man.
Oh my God.
Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, one of those two.
One of those, yeah.
Yeah, the one with Woodman.
Yes, Woodman.
And Metal Man, and he had like the buzzsaw
I
and
got-
stuff like that.
I got 2 stories about those games.
Oh, okay.
First, Mario Brothers 3. I played that fucking game so much it gave me nightmares. I'm not kidding.
What?
I was terrified of Bowser in my dreams because I
What?
played it so much. He was haunting them. I'm not kidding. It was a thing. It was a thing. Finally, I got over it. I just stopped playing and for a little bit and whatever. Mega Man 2, I put in like my top 5 hardest games of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know it. I'm sure now, who knows? But back then, though, I was like trying to chew through my freaking controllers because I was so mad at the game. I broke at least 2 or 3 by whipping them across the room.
What?
Like,
Oh, you were that kind of player.
Oh my God! Well, not
were that
anymore.
kinda-
But at the time, and it was only that game. It was only that game. There's like all these other games that are really hard to play and stuff like that. I never felt the need to be rageful like that. But that game, I was like, you. So bad. But when I finally beat it, oh man, that sense of accomplishment, I tell you.
Well, it was fortunate that it was one of those games that had the system where you got the passcode, right?
Yeah.
So
that's true.
you could, say, fuck it and pump in the passcode and be X amount of guys left till the end.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I think for me, it was always strategy games. Yeah, even
Yeah.
going all the way back in the day. Ancient Art of War, I play on my dad's XT computer. God, I love that game. Yeah. I just wish I can play that game.
You're also a big fan of the police quests and space quests. And,
Oh, yes. Yeah, the Sierra games. Oh, I believe, played I've definitely played all the police, the space quests, maybe not all the King's quests, because they kind of had a whole variety, and there's the remakes. I tried playing one of the remakes, and it was good, but it wasn't the same for me.
Yeah. Aren't they doing remakes now of King's Quest? I could be wrong, but I think I just saw something recently, didn't I?
No, they are, I think, yeah. I think I played one of them, because it's a whole new graphics. It's one of those things, and it's like anything. I didn't get the same vibe from it. Like, one thing I really miss, but I do understand why it's not made anymore, I miss in those Sierra games really just being able to type in stupid things like open door. Shoot saber. I like that you had to actually think about it versus click this icon. All right. Oh, it changed. Click that icon. Oh, it changed. Click that icon. And that's kind of what they transitioned into.
Yeah.
And then I lost it a little bit from there. But Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh my God.
Oh God, yeah.
Yes.
I remember that was the first time I ever saw a naughty video game.
What I also love most about that game is, sure, playing the game where it didn't really flash anything, but you feel like you're getting into something. I just loved all the questions. And I can remember at the start of it, I found out far later, that there's actually a trick to get into the game without asking the questions. But yeah, I remember answering a question. If I got it right, I pulled out my secret piece of paper that I had hidden my father, so that way I could write down the question, write down the right answer for the next time. Oh, I had a whole thing set up. It was great.
That's amazing. Just for Leisure Suit Larry. That's
just
so
for
great.
Leisure Suit Larry. Yep. That's one of the ones I fully beat that one. My memory is completely on my own. Like, I never cheated, looked anything up. Whereas most of the other ones, I had to look. Okay, I'm stuck. I've been playing this for hours. What's the next step?
Yeah. Kids today won't know like those struggles of having to, not have the internet to rely on to figure out how to get past like Let's Plays. Like, I remember for me the most challenging thing I ever had to experience when it comes to like trying to beat a game was X-Men. Was the first X-Men for the Sega Genesis. I think.
Oh God, that game was hard.
It was so hard,
ridiculously hard,
crazily hard. But there was this one part where I couldn't get like to the next level, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Like, it wouldn't let me go. And I owned the game. I could not get past this level for like 6-7 months, maybe longer, probably longer. But the crazy part was like, I had played it so much, I like mastered like that first little bit, like to the point where I could just get through it in like freaking half an hour. Like I could do speed runs, which, whatever.
Mhm.
Then there was like an electronic gaming monthly magazine that came out that said strategies on how to, beat X-Men, blah, 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 blah. So of course, I bought it. And I went straight to the page where it's like, okay, how do I beat this? And apparently, because the way the game was set up, they made it so that way they made you think that they infected your machine with a virus, your Sega Genesis, and you have to press the reset button to go forward into the fucking game. And I'm like, fuck you guys. Fuck you. Like, this whole time I'm going to just press that? And I'm like, oh my God, it was infuriating. It was freaking infuriating.
I had a game that did the same thing to me. It was a Nintendo game. And I remember getting it in the States, and it was called Mystery Quest.
Oh,
and it was this little elf dude that had to run it around and like shoot like crabs and scorpions and bats and stuff. And then you'd go into a castle, and it's kind of like a labyrinth sort of thing, right? Side scroller labyrinth kind of thing. I think it was the second castle. I could never get past the second castle. And this was you play the game for like half an hour, and then it was just like, oh well, okay.
Yeah,
I'd never seen any sort of strategy guide for it or anything in any magazines, and it's kind of one of those games that just kind of.
Yeah, you just stopped. Yeah, for me it was.
It was done. I was done.
Yeah, for me it was, and this is going to sound silly, but it's just one of those life things. A video game based off of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, for the Nintendo. I remember that game.
No, I played the version for the computer for the old XT.
And
I always remember I'd get to the last level and you could see the thing coming towards what's her name and all that, about to kill her. I could never beat that last level. I had no idea how you were supposed to beat it. I would spend so much time playing this silly game. Previous levels could do it no problem. I never finished the last one. In fact, you know what? Once we're done this podcast, I might go Google it just for shit.
Just to do
I'm sure you'd find something. Yeah, I'm sure.
I'm sure I would. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I remember spending so much time trying to make holes in things, and I just could never.
Couldn't figure it out.
That reminds me of RoboCop versus Terminator, which
that was a great game.
Was a great game, but brutally hard. Like
it was
so
hard,
freaking hard. I remember I could not beat the end guy without the infinite lives. There's no way. Yeah. And even still, I think it took me like an hour to beat him. I'm like, who's doing this on 5 lives? Who are you? I couldn't believe, but that game I go play again. That was fun.
See, that's a game that I'm the same boat as you. I'd never actually beat it ever, but it was fun to play. It was that just you plug it in, you played it. Generally, that first level, I could just do it. After that, I would die somewhere along the line. Sometimes make it to the end. I was happy when I made it to the end boss.
I know.
I'm going to die now, but I made it.
I know. Such an accomplishment to make it to the end boss too, because they throw so much stuff at you. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it was very rare, but I do have a memory of making it. I never beat it though. I do recall that.
I only beat it with infinite lives. That was the only way, and I had to find. I don't know where I found that cheat code, but I'm like, I'm using it. I'll
Oh yeah.
I'm beating this damn game, damn it.
That is one thing I say I miss it, and I'm sure it does actually exist in games nowadays. But up, down, left, right, A, B, like those things, like those were good times.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you don't find that too much anymore.
No, you don't.
Only for like nostalgic purposes. Like I think Rockstar still throws them in for GTA, but it's just because it's what they do.
Oh, GTA.
Yes. Yeah.
GTA. Is it 3? That's my favorite, or was it 4? I can't remember which one now.
San Andreas will always be my favorite.
That one, San Andreas. That one.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
5's a close second.
Well, I couldn't get into it.
Oh man.
Yeah. And I tried the online thing and I didn't get it, so I was like, yeah.
Oh, you gotta come play with AJ and I. That's why.
You gotta, yeah.
We'll show you a good time, man. We'll show you. You come play GTA.
I still remember playing the original GTA at Cam's house. I think you and I both did that.
We sure did.
That was good times. I remember skipping school, sitting there playing that video game, and then my father showing up to pick me up.
I do,
yes. I won't blame the video game on that one. But
you were white. Doesn't go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because his dad lives like a freaking at the time, lived like a 3-hour drive away.
Oh, Jesus.
Hauled his ass here to catch Dave, play Grand Theft Auto out of
Yep.
all the games to play when playing hooky.
Well,
Oh,
Grand
man.
Theft Auto, and he literally just walked in the house I was in, which wasn't our house.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Ah,
Unbelievable.
good times.
Such good times. Hi,
Oh, it
Mark.
was good times. Yeah. But that's what I love about it, because like back then I felt like I was playing a variety of games. Like I
Yeah.
really, now there were favorites, that I would prefer to play, but I would always be trying, doing new games, all those things, be it arcade, system, computer. Whereas nowadays, at least for me, like that's one of the things we have the Xbox, what is it, the 360 in there. It was unplugged for I don't know, 2 months before we plugged it back in. Yeah, I just can't get into them anymore.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a sad state. We got to change. We got to change that. I have.
Well, see, that's the thing though, because like for me, like I still it would get a little bit ahead, of course, because that's how we roll. But like to me, my favorite game is still Civ 4 specifically.
You're a Civilization fan. Yeah. So.
Oh hell yeah.
If you've never played Civilization, when it comes to strategy games, it probably doesn't get. I don't think it gets better than that. But the problem is, it's a commitment. It's not like you can't just hang out and play a match, even if you do it on like the speed rounds or whatever they're called, where you can just go through. You're still putting in at least a couple hours for a game. Like it's not.
Easy. Yeah.
And that's not even including campaigns. That's not including all the different styles you can play and whatever. And yeah, Dave is also a bit of I'd say a bit of a master at it. Like it would be great to watch you and Phil play a game of Civ together. I'd like to see
yeah.
That would be
Well,
really
and it's
great.
one of those things like the Civ 4, the Civ 5, like they're all out there. It's just, yeah. Now, Civ 5 is probably one I play more now than 4.
Yeah.
I haven't played 6 too much, I have to admit.
No.
I haven't played it at all. I should be clear on that.
I keep meaning to want to play, but knowing this goes back to games of variety.
Mm-hmm.
But I know like once there's no other game I can play once I'm playing Civ. Like that's it. Like I'm in. Yeah, and that's it. Yeah. Like you prepare for months, because if you're not, don't bother. Right?
Well, that's how I roll. Is I keep it uninstalled from the computer, so that way, if I go through the effort of installing it, one of those features of Steam, and I love Steam for things like this.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's just okay. It might take 2 hours to install, but if I'm willing to wait that long, then I probably got the time to spend the 8 hours on it.
That's true. That's true. That's a good rule of thumb.
That reminds me of me when the first Sims game came out. I'm pretty sure I lost many days. Just sitting there playing that one, and Sims 2.
I did too.
Sims 1 and 2.
Me too. Yeah.
I did too. And what's funny about that from my perspective is I really remember enjoying it, building it up, getting married. Like I really remember getting into it. It came on, funny, I think it was the X. I can't remember where I got it from, but it was like a freebie for 2 weeks or something. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and play this again. I remember loving it. I could not get back into it.
The console version, I found the console version was much different than the than just the gameplay itself, the way you built stuff and the way you moved things around. It was very different doing it on the controller because they had to designate certain button combinations and certain. Yeah, I tried that myself when it came out on PlayStation 2, and it just wasn't. It didn't cut the mustard. Quite. A game that did though was the same kind of idea. It was Playboy the Mansion.
Oh my God!
Did you guys ever play that one?
Speaking of multi games,
right?
I did play it. I sure did for like research purposes, obviously.
Of course.
Sure.
It was business. It was learning how to build a business, and it was very interesting.
Right.
Don't you play as like Hugh Hefner or a Hugh Hefner type character, and you have to keep the magazine running basically.
Nice.
It was kind of
I've never played or heard of it. I have to admit,
it was humorous.
It was very Simsy. I remember. I loved when I played The Sims back in the day. I loved getting good at it, like you guys are talking about. Like I really wanted to be good at it. Like I know a lot of people wanted to just kill their Sims or whatever, put them in rooms, which,
Oh, when you go through periods. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. But it loses its luster pretty quickly. But I really wanted to be good at it. And yeah, I remember kind of when it switched over to consoles, I was like, I can't. I'm not. I don't know. It's not. This isn't what
It's
I
not
was.
the same
I signed
vibe.
up
Yeah.
for. No.
Yeah.
But I mean,
same vibe.
and I don't want to get too into the weeds on this. That is also an EA thing. Like EA, I don't know if you guys have heard the state of the Sims now, but there's like basically to buy the entire game, you'd have to spend like $1,000 because it's all broken up into
Oh, that's a
expansions.
common thing now.
But that's
I
just
remember,
an EA
yeah,
thing.
they started that back in the day, but
Yeah.
there weren't as many expansions for like Sims 1 and 2 than there were for 3 on or something like that.
Yeah, but the good thing is you can always go back and play the old Sims somewhere. So, that's all.
Yeah, well, they do have you can go play old video games. I can't remember the name of the site, but there is that site that's dedicated to getting those old games to work on your new systems.
Oh, nice.
Or new computers. It's computer perspective.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of the site. Yeah.
Yeah, retro gaming's huge, man. Everybody's trying to play their old consoles. I mean,
that's one of my points here. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've got my old PS2 hooked up to my. Fortunately, I have the proper jacks in my TV to have that going on. So I play. Was it Tiger Woods PGA?
Nice.
2007, I think it is. That'll suck me in for hours.
Wow, really?
Hours. Oh yeah,
really.
When I lived back home, we lived in a house. I'd moved out of my parents' place for a few months, and we would sit there and we would play that for a good 6 to 8 hours a day. I had a buddy who came over once, and we were all sleeping. Me and my roommate kind of just knocks on the door. He's like, "Can I sit on your couch and play golf?" And we're like, "Yeah, man, sure, whatever, go for it."
Nuts.
And we got up and played some rounds with him. Oh yeah, I've won. If I could turn, Chris and I talk about this when we talk about Grand Theft Auto money. If I could turn the money that I've earned in Tiger Woods PGA into real life money, oh man, I'd be fucking
so
stupid
many more
rich.
PGA golf games.
I'd be stupid rich. Yeah, I don't much enjoy watching sports games, but I'll play certain sports games on video games.
Oh,
sorry. Let me rephrase that. I don't like watching sports live. I don't mind playing sports video games. There we go.
Yeah. There you go. Well, for me, the classic is always hockey. Don't get me wrong. I like watching hockey, but I'll sit down. And one thing I always love about hockey games is there may be tricks to the game, certainly. The old school behind the net shoot, every time. Yeah. But one thing I like is that it's generally pass, shoot, switch player. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Baseball games, I haven't played one of those in forever, but I can never get into them.
Yeah. It's
just baseball in general I can't get into.
No, I love listening to it.
I got hooked on baseball maybe 5 years ago when the Jays were doing their big run with Batista and whatnot. And at that time, I started playing MLB The Show because our other friend Ryan is a big fan, and it's great. But I don't know the strategies of baseball.
Yeah,
I just don't. So no matter it's great playing single player because you can adjust it so that way you look like a kick-ass superstar no matter what you do. But when you go up and play somebody who knows what they're doing, you feel like a fucking idiot.
That's the same for any of the sports games, really, though.
But when you're good at one, I'm not the best at hockey, but I can hold my own. I can play against other people.
Okay, fair. Okay.
I might not win, but I'm not going to lose 20-0, right? I'm gonna get a goal or two and whatnot. Whereas baseball, that's exactly what happened.
It's been so long since I played a baseball video game. That's going to have to be our next thing to try and do together because
we should.
Yeah, because I've done definitely hockey. I've played football, played basketball games. I've done golf.
Yeah,
that's not confusing too.
We should do golf with friends together sometime. We should do
Last time I played a baseball game was probably Wii Sports.
Oh my god!
No, you know what? I might be in that same boat.
Do you remember, Dave, when we got the Wii for the first time, and frickin' Russell, our friend Russell, literally threw out his shoulder. He literally threw it honestly. He rifed it so hard. He's like, I think I gotta get help.
Yep.
I fucked my arm up. I'm like, wait.
Oh wow.
Couldn't believe it. Couldn't believe it.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was a good time.
That's a good time. Yeah. Yeah. Now that we got the Wii and the Switch and whatnot, I mean, yeah, we could just play baseball games and tennis games.
Yeah. Well, I find with
That'll
the
fun.
Switch, my big thing on that is, I always forget the name of it. Oh, the stupid, you build up the little hut village thing.
Oh, yeah. Your favorite, Animal Crossing.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's my daughter, and I help out build up the
Sure.
village.
Yeah.
I purely am playing for hours to help the daughter out. Yes.
Of Well, that's a new thing. You know what's funny, Dave and AJ? That's a thing that's kind of taken off is these kind of, shall we say, low energy. I don't want to say low energy, but they're not like
Oh, it
crazy
is low
exciting
energy.
games. Yeah. But there was a game that you got me onto that reminded me of it way back before this was a thing. It was a PC game where you basically play a guy and you've just got to build your life up again, and you start by mining different things. I can't remember the name of it now, but I remember playing it for the first time. I'm like, wait a second, like what do we do? It's like, well, you just keep building. Like, oh, like there's no point. Like, well, yeah, you gotta build this, and then it leads to this, and then it leads to that. Like, what? Like, do we fight anybody? Go, oh, if people attack you, yeah, but if they don't, no, you're not here to fight people. It was a new concept to me, and now it's like that concept is like kind of taken over, right? Like you've seen all these types of games that lend to this just low energy, easy.
Oh yeah, sit back, relax.
Yeah, just a chill time.
Microsoft Farming Simulator.
Yeah,
for
Right.
sure. Yeah.
Like that.
SimCity, like I was a SimCity 2000 fan, loved it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's another game. Was just chill, just do your thing, and
Turn off disasters when you start.
I was gonna say until Godzilla comes and tramples your city or a tornado.
Well, you can turn it off
for sure.
Yeah. Actually, the SimCities are another good example, at least from my perspective. SimCity 2000 was the absolute peak of that game, and then even though they released new ones, it never quite
Yeah, they never captured that magic again. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That was like, and I played so much of SimCity 2000. Like it was my life for a while. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you couldn't get back onto it.
Well, I couldn't do the new ones. It's like, well, that maybe was just a me thing. I even tried playing like one of the recent ones, and there's like, you had to worry about driving taxis while building the city. I'm like, why am I? No.
What? Really? Wow.
That's not my job's to plan this damn city, not drive
taxis.
Like,
crazy taxi? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Crazy taxi.
There's a fun cross pollination of games. Crazy Taxi and friggin' SimCity
2.
SimCity. Amazing. Crazy Taxi.
That would be great.
Oh my word. I'd love to play Crazy Taxi again. I think they're doing something new with that now.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
I never played a lot of those.
Yeah, they were fun.
I played a bunch of it in the arcade.
Crazy
Taxi
yeah. That was a good time.
You guys ever hear of a game called Lucky and Wild?
No.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
One guy drives and shoots, and the other guy shoots, and it's these two.
Really?
So
80s,
so they had
80s buddy cop kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They had a full on cabinet, and then on one side they had like a gun in place, and then your steering wheel, and then another gun in place. And the idea was the driver's supposed to shoot and drive at the same time, and then the other one's just supposed to shoot. When my brother and I would play it, whoever was taking turns, like, no, one just focus on driving, the other one just focus on shooting. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not gonna try wild here. It's gonna be the game, right? Yeah. What a fun game that was. Good callback.
That was fun. I enjoyed the driving.
I never did that one. Shit.
Yeah.
It
was
nice. A good one. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in arcades when I was a teenager. Saw people do the Mortal Kombat thing, right?
Yep.
There's always that one guy who you might as well just hand him your 50 cents as opposed to playing them. Like it wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
BJ was that guy for a while. I remember him being really good at Mortal Kombat, and people were just coughing up quarters to him. Like he was like, okay,
nice.
All right.
Yeah, that was never me. I have to admit, even back then, I would play at the arcade because that's what we do. We were doing other things there, of course. But
of course,
me pinball machines. Like I love pinball machines.
Yep. Yeah, I enjoy those. Those are fun.
Yeah.
I always felt. So go ahead.
No, it's just they're great to play. That's why I like. They're classic, and I still enjoy them end to end.
It's the
Yeah.
tactile thing, I think, right? Like
Yeah.
you can do little tricks, sort of stop the ball and then flip it and whatever.
Oh yeah, I do a little bit of
Yeah.
the shake if you don't get caught. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little more tactile than a video game per se.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
You
and
always, you always hit those odd machines that are just, no matter what you do, it's going down the frickin' sides constantly.
Yeah.
Yes. My favorite. I mean, I would go to an arcade for pinball machines again because I mean that was what I wanted to play when we went to the arcades because I mean probably can play the video games elsewhere, but pinball like that was it. One of my favorite pinball machines was Episode 1, Star Wars Phantom Menace, when they released it. And the reason why is because it was a pinball machine, but it was also half a video game. Like they had like a digital display that you could like shoot stuff at it and stuff. And
Gotcha.
yeah. And I remember playing a lot of it at The Honest Lawyer, but it would have been in the early 2000s. It would have had to have been because that's when it came out. And I love that game so much. Like I would happily give that game that pinball machine hundreds of dollars right now.
Hundreds of dollars.
For me, it was Addams Family and the Terminator 2.
Oh,
pinball.
both great. Yes,
That's what I remember.
and
then the random ones that were just whatever
was there.
Some sort of cheesy kind of theme to it. It wasn't licensed or anything like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, like I would always I love playing them. You just go, yeah, it was great. And sometimes you go and you play for free when you get lucky.
That's true.
Yeah.
For sure.
Did not happen often, but every so often. I don't remember even where I was, but it just some broken machine that never ended. The ball would come down, the ball would shoot up. It was just, all right, I'll keep playing.
Sure.
That's amazing.
Oh, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to admit, that's one of those things that once I win the lottery, I would probably buy an actual pinball machine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And not one of those small ones you can kind of see around. You pay $50, you get this little mini thing. No, I want an actual pinball machine.
A real legit.
For sure.
Yeah. And I'll take basically any one.
Well, yeah, I'm with you. I would because I would love to build my own arcade one day. You know how they've been releasing those like mini video game cabinets, coin. I can't remember what they're called now. But shout out to them for doing that. I'd happily settle for those for video games for sure. I don't mind. I don't need like a giant machine. But when it comes to a pinball machine, I need the full pinball machine. Like no fucking around here. Right?
Yeah. Like don't get me wrong. I've played the pinball on the computer that you can do, and I've had fun, but it hasn't been the same fun. That impossible thing to describe.
I know. It's weird. It's so weird. Yeah. So moving on.
Now that we beat up pinball machines,
we clearly dried that subject up.
Well, and again, I guess I shouldn't. It's weird that I'm transitioning to this, but it's one of my list, so I'm going to go on it. What's a game that has been your biggest disappointment? Like we've talked a lot about games we've loved, but has there ever been one that you're like, shit, this was not what I wanted or expected?
So many.
I have a few.
Yeah, there's quite a few.
So I have to admit, like, I actually couldn't think of one that I was like, it's horrible. Like, there's been a few where I'm like, I don't have the same vibe. Like we talked about the GTA one earlier. I can't get into the GTAs the same way I did the original for some reason, but I think that's more of a me thing than it is the game thing.
For sure. I'm sure if you sat with one long enough, you jump back into that full, but you're absolutely right. Like it's more of a you thing. It's not the game itself per se.
Exactly.
I got one. Yeah. I was disappointed. I was disappointed with Mario 2.
Mario 2
when I was a kid. Yeah, it didn't have that same vibe as the first Mario. It was like completely different. It didn't seem to follow the same story. I mean, later on in life, I understood why they that was actually supposed to be Mario 3 in Japan. And switching it all up.
Right,
yeah.
That's right.
So when Mario 3 came out, they kind of went back to that same original style with the blocks and all that stuff, just in a crispy review. But yeah, there was a Super Nintendo game called Super Mario All-Stars. And it had all the Super Mario games on it. It had one called Mario the Lost Levels. That in Japan was Super Mario 2.
Huh.
And then this one was
Interesting.
Super Mario 2, the one that we know as Super Mario 2, was called Mario's Dream. And the entire thing takes place in a dream. So
Which kind of makes sense.
that's why it was different. That's why
Yeah.
it didn't make sense, right? That's why it didn't really follow the original kind of, I want to say, storyline. I guess
Yeah.
some form of a storyline. But yeah, so I would say I was disappointed with that. That
Okay.
was probably my first video game disappointment. But after that, there's many I can think of. Yeah,
Yeah.
quite a
I
few.
was thinking myself, and the closest I could think of, and most people would be like, that's a disappointment, was when they came out with a new Warcraft 3s and all that. Like, Warcraft 2, the classic strategy, I loved it when they came out with the third and started going into this whole other thing. I was like, yeah, no, it's not a me thing anymore. You've ruined it.
That's interesting. I have a few that I want to talk about.
Okay, I should sit back for the next. Okay,
for sure. They're all touching on kind of your points. So I would say my first video game disappointment was definitely E.T. I remember playing that.
Oh,
and not
wow.
understanding
Okay,
it.
yeah.
I remember like we had it. I don't know how we had it, but we did, and I was like, I don't get it. Like, why is it resetting? What do you? I don't understand. So I was really just let down because, big ET fan and looked like shit. And it's like, whatever. So that I would say was pretty disappointed by. And more recently, I was disappointed by World of Warcraft because I also, like with you, Dave, I was a big fan of Warcraft and Warcraft 2.
Yeah.
I didn't play enough of 3 to properly gauge it compared to 1 and 2. I keep meaning to do that, but as we keep talking, like when?
Yeah.
but I remember trying World of Warcraft thinking, oh, this is going to be awesome. I thought it was going to be, remember when we played Command and Conquer Renegades? It was like a first-person shooter idea of like Command and Conquer. Do you remember playing that game? Yeah. That's what I thought World of Warcraft was going to be. And I guess it kind of is, but the RPG elements to it, like, I don't know. They just don't, it just feels like a letdown.
Now you've just opened up the whole door of the massive online games.
Don't hate me.
Well, it's not a hate thing. It's one of those things where I agree with you. It's for me personally, and I will admit, I have spent actually a couple of hours on World of Warcraft. Because again, it's one of those things like, hey, okay, I want to try this. And you start to build this character, and they have the whole free up to level 20 or whatever it is. So I gave it a go. And it was like, go kill 20 of these. Go kill 26 of those. Go do this. Go do that. And it's kind of at a certain point, I was like now I'm just bored.
Yeah. And for me, I couldn't find this isn't to hate on anybody. If you're a WoW fan or if you're an online RPG fan, awesome. Keep going and let us know why you love it in the comments. But for me, there's just, what's the end game? What's what you get to level 60, 100 and then what?
Yeah, they just keep adding more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now, and that's one of the things I didn't do in the massively online things was I wasn't social. So I think that is one thing I will give them a bit of a head nod, because you hear stories about, people are part of the clubs or the clans. I think that's what
the clans. Yeah.
And then, somebody disappears. They start to, this is a story I recall that I may be wrong on, where, they end up finding out that the poor fellow has some sort of cancer and he's passing away. And so they actually all show up physically. This is something that happened a couple of years ago. To say goodbye to him in person. It's like, that to me is a great example of what's good about it. But I think to get to that level, you really got to spend a lot of time.
You got to put your work, your everything in. Yeah. I think you're absolutely right. Go ahead.
Wouldn't GTA Online be considered like the exact same thing?
I just love the expression on them right now.
Good point.
What's there's no end game.
But right? Well, no, technically
to
speaking,
make money,
there's not.
To get cars, and to
you're absolutely
go
right.
rob people and kill them. That's it.
Dream.
That's the game.
and maybe GTA is more suited to me. I would say, and again, it's all semantics at the end of the day.
Oh, I agree.
For sure. But what keeps me hooked on GTA and has since it's GTA Online, since its inception, is the little bits that they bring, like the heists or the updates and things like that, which I know WoW does that too. And I could be wrong, but it seems like in GTA it's much more varied in terms of what you can do and whatnot. But it doesn't seem like that for WoW. I could be very wrong. So I think, again, I'm not saying one's better than the other. I think that's just why my mind gravitates towards GTA and the investment too.
Well, I think it'd be kind of subject matter in a way too, because I'll agree. I didn't know that there was a Warcraft that existed until I heard of World of Warcraft. Like I didn't know that it went back further than that. I just thought, but I'm not big into the fantasy kind of goblins and dragons and all that kind of stuff. Like I don't know, it just doesn't.
It's not your jam.
Yeah, I guess going and being a bad guy. I mean, everybody wants to be a villain, right? So you're kind of doing that in GTA, right? You're just.
I don't know what you're talking about. My GTA guy's a good guy.
Oh, but you go and steal stuff and murder people.
Don't tell everyone, AJ.
Well, no, it's true.
You're not hooked into the Matrix right now.
It's true.
Oh, don't talk about that as a video game. Movie, great. Video game, oh.
Bad.
Wait, we talking? Wait. Enter the Matrix? Is that what we're talking about?
Did they make more than one video game?
Or the Path of Neo?
Oh, I didn't know there was multiple.
I never played
the Path of Neo. I think Enter the Matrix was that MMORPG that they tried to do, wasn't it? They tried to do like a World of Warcraft kind of thing with the Matrix.
Yes, they did.
It didn't work too well.
Yes, it was, the concept was so on, but it just wasn't executed well at all.
No.
If they did it now, they'd probably do a really good job. Which, I mean, with the fourth movie coming out, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The Resurrection.
Yeah, you never know, maybe. Yeah, the game I always think was the one you had, Chris.
Yeah.
That was just.
It wasn't
like what I love about that game, it was a great example of both of us playing, and then this is great, and then it's kind of that I go home, you do a thing, and then a couple weeks later, it kind of sinks into both of us. This actually isn't that good, but we really want it to be good.
I know. We thought it was
there's
cool.
one of those disappointments, right? There's one of those video game disappointments.
That's true. We thought it'd be cool to because they made it so you could hack your system or hack your system and stuff. But it's just a disappointment. And then the only other two games I wanted to say that I was disappointed by.
The only other two games.
The only other two. Well, no, there's plenty more. But was Transformers: Rise of the Dark Spark. There were these two unbelievable Transformers games called War for Cybertron and then Fall of Cybertron.
I remember those.
Awesome. If you're a Transformers fan and you not play them, go play them. They're freaking great. But then they released Rise of the Dark Spark, and it was under a different publisher. And someone, I wasn't even planning on getting it because I'm like, I kind of saw the writing on the wall before it came out. But then someone got it for me for my birthday, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. I'll play it. I couldn't even get past the third level. It was so bad. It was such a departure to the point where it's like, I'm so sorry, but I'm going to have to return this game and get another one.
Oh, wow.
And I tell my friend that, it's something personal. It's just, she was cool with it. She wasn't mad. She's like, I don't know gaming, but yeah, that's fine. So I ended up getting Watch Dogs. Have you played Watch Dogs or not?
No.
I was so disappointed. I was so pissed, and a lot of people. There are some people that like it, but for me, it just was not a game. It was a rinse, wash, repeat game. So you're playing this open world. It's supposed to be this really drawn out story, and there was some cool concepts to it and whatnot. But at the end of the day, you just have to memorize what you're doing for your mission, and then you beat the mission. I was like, oh, fuck this! I was so
there. And what's funny is you say something like that where I think a good spin. So a most recent game that I've played that I've actually enjoyed is a game called Rust. And an open world where you just do what you want to do. And they do have modded ones as well. So to be honest, when I'm in the mood of just getting my ass handed to me, I'll go play a vanilla server because I don't play often enough to be awesome and I get my ass handed to me constantly. And then when I want to actually just, play, you go play a modded server that is either, you kill random AI type guys and you're actually banding together and stuff. But it's a similar type style where you start and you do what you want to do, which is one of the things I do love about video games. And so
I should try that out. It's getting a lot of love, that Rust game.
I have to admit, and I was fortunate because I actually bought it back when it was first getting developed. So it was an on sale thing through Steam for I think it was $5 or something. So I'm like, okay, sure, I'll give it a go. And it's been updated, and the only annoyance I have with it, and it's purely a Dave annoyance, when I first bought it for that $5, it was Linux compatible, so I could just play on my Linux laptop. Now it's a Windows only.
Oh.
That's the one negative.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Tony Hawk video games after the third one, I think. I think the third one was the last kind of classic sort of gameplay sort of one, and then they tried to change it up a little more, and then
lost everybody.
Yeah. I was very happy
underground ones.
Yeah, I was very happy when they remade 1 and 2 just recently.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I was like, this is how you're supposed to. Yeah.
And that is one thing I find the industry is doing well on, is they're really aiming, much like movies and all the entertainments, trying to bring back those old games, in the same gaming style, but updated graphics, can work on the big screen, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you're seeing so many great examples of how they're doing that. It's really awesome to see that these remakes that coming out to fruition that are actually very much bringing back the nostalgia levels that we had when we were younger. Yeah,
and that's really from my experience. It's because, and it's like most things, I'm old enough that I just want them to do this, but they just bring it back. Often it's like basically the exact same story, exact same everything, but they've brought it back with the updated graphics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
That's cool. I think that's neat when they can do that, and you can see it in like you're saying, it's the same game, but it's a different light. You see it in it from a different perspective almost.
Yeah. So I think they do a pretty good version.
Have you guys played this Cuphead? Have you heard of this Cuphead video game?
No.
I know of it. I keep meaning to play it, but I haven't had a chance to give it a go.
It's like a 1930s animation style sort of thing. So like think of like really old Disney cartoons or something where they're always like bending their legs and like it's jazz music and stuff like that, but it's two characters and they have cups for heads. And one's named Cuphead and one's named Mugman. But and I can't say I was disappointed, but I was mainly surprised because every single level is a boss fight.
Yeah.
There's like very few actual like run through the level and kind of shoot. You're shooting people with snaps. You're snapping your fingers at people and shooting them with like lasers that come out of your fingers and shit.
Nice.
It's trippy, and I'm pretty sure the point of the game is to get to the devil.
Yeah, I think
you're supposed to fight the devil, but it's incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard, but it's fun. It's one of those games. You almost feel the need to continue to play it because you really want to beat that level.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I know I can do it, kind of thing, right? Yeah, it's neat. So
my son has a game like that where and I can't remember the name of it, but you have to go and set up the blocks and the structures in a certain pattern in order to actually build through the level. It's the one Xbox game where he'll fire it up and spend hours on it. It's hilarious.
I don't know what game
it's like these kids with that Minecraft. I can't wrap my head
Both
around.
my kids are in that one. Yeah,
I can't wrap my head around why that. Like, and it's got to be something that we found appealing about The Sims because it's kind of the same idea where you build a structure and you have a farm and blah blah blah. There's a point it. But
we have purchased 2 Minecrafts so that way my son and daughter could actually play together in the same worlds and things like that.
Oh wow!
And my daughter is a bit more into the modded games. Like she'll actually go, and it's one of those things, fantastic thing to see your kids do where she'll happily now just go and actually, I shouldn't say hack, but she'll manipulate the data files of the Minecraft in order to actually get the appropriate graphics and mods.
Wow.
Yeah, if my 12-year-old daughter's sitting there just doing her thing.
Gonna say daughter taking after her dad right there. That's
and she'll happily, and she truly does, because again, a little bit on this topic, all these lovely games we just spoke about is often just us sitting here in our chairs,
That's it. Yep.
And I'm sure it's not that expression my daughter gives while she's playing, but she's basically doing the same thing. And if she was in this room, I'd be getting the glitter right now, but we'll ignore that fact.
That's fine. She'd probably be mad that we're talking about it on our podcast too, but that's whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, that's true. Well, she does her own stuff too. She does
that's true,
she has her own video game streams where she'll go and only record her voice and her playing and stuff like that. So yeah, she's into it. I don't get it.
That's quite popular. The specifically streaming Minecraft and the Fortnite.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't understand the Minecraft. I've never played it myself, but anytime I've seen it, it's like I don't get why you would invest so much time into that.
Well, that is one thing I do like about the Minecraft is it's one of those great games where, from my perspective, you can kind of play it the way you want to. Because I do know, because you can do just an environment where you can build shit, and I have to admit I'm on your side. I don't quite get that. Or you can play the actual level-ish stuff where monsters are going to come after you, need to defend yourself, and all these other things.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I always.
Yeah.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, that was it. I'm done.
Oh, I always feel bad when my like young friends want to show me like their Minecraft levels because they'll be like, "Oh, you want to come see my Minecraft house or whatever?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's so great."
I have to admit, it is one of those things that I used to play a lot more of.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, I used to, and because it was exciting, it was a new style. But yeah, my kids beat me hands down on any of this. Yeah,
I bet. Yeah.
It's hilarious, and they've built things far more awesome, and some of it, off of blueprinty things, we'll call it. The other things they just make on their own. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's really
that's intense,
cool.
man.
It really is intense.
That's kind of intense. But I guess it's the same idea as the Sims or
Yep.
I was going to compare it. I was going to compare it to another game, but I can't remember now.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, it's just that again, it's a new style to games that the youth, to a certain extent, are experiencing compared to us. Because again, and we touched on this in one of our previous episodes, but kids these days are so different than us in how they do things.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Right.
My son has an Xbox 360 game, stuff like that. Doesn't play it much. No, not really.
Yeah.
He'd rather go watch YouTube videos and not Twitter, the other thing. I always forget the name of the stupid thing. The video thing.
Oh, TikTok.
Yes, that's it.
TikToks.
Yes, I don't get it. No, mind you, I say I don't get it, but every so often I get called over and it's a funny video or something.
Sure, it's a thing. And
they sat there for 4 hours. They sat there for 4 hours and they found one funny video.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, the TikTok scroll. I tell you, that's a deep hole to get yourself into, from what I understand. Yeah, well, and even still, like when we were kids, you could easily say, "Hey, stop playing video games. You can't make money doing that." You can't say that to kids today. You just can't.
That's true too. Yeah.
Well, you really can't make money doing it.
You can though. That's the thing. Like
there's there's esports, right?
Yes, man.
Esports.
I've seen examples of kids that are making like 10 G's a month pro gaming, or not even pro gaming. They're just streaming. They're literally just streaming themselves playing games and being obnoxious about it, and then they make money. Like there's a market for everything, and I just think it's interesting how you have like. If you want to play video games for the rest of your life, your guidance counselor is like, "No, I think Jimmy, you should probably go to this." Like, what do you know? I'm already making bank on this, and you're going to.
It's one of those things I don't get.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Well, yeah, I know I don't get it, and hey, all the power to those generations that do, because I know when we were growing up, there's a lot of generations that didn't understand us. So, hey,
that's true.
That's cool.
That is it. That's
for sure.
Totally it. Yeah. So I guess speaking on generations and getting near that end, what do you want to see in that next generation for us? Again, our perspective, certainly.
What's beyond the PlayStation 5? Because it's
I guess I'll be honest.
The technology, like you could attest to it, Chris. The what are they calling it? The force feedback.
The haptic feedback.
Haptic feedback. That's the one it is. Yeah. So
playing.
And the VR, like the VR, it's okay. It's not. It's definitely better than when we were, kids in the 90s, like you were saying, going to the VR cafe, or when I tried it at that car show or whatever it is. It's but I guess it's still not perfect. So I don't know. Personally, I'd like to see something more immersive, but maybe not VR headsets, because they kind of, I don't know, they kind of make you feel a little wobbly after a while,
So I agree about the VR headset, but I also think that's the next thing. I think that's what we're going to see more and more of, because all the discussion I had about how, my son doesn't really get into video games. Yeah, the only reason he gets off the VR is he has to recharge it.
Oh, there
So
you go.
you think it's
There
going
you
to go more like Ready Player One, if you've ever
Yeah.
seen or
I
read
really do think it's going to be the new thing. Like, it's one of those funny things where it hasn't actually happened yet, so I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but I'm going to have the second child say, you know what, I want my own VR. And the two of them are going to different levels of the house. And then, that's going to become that next thing where houses, you go to somebody's house, they don't have living rooms anymore. They have the VR space.
So you go, you
Yeah.
go into the VR and you make your own,
Yeah.
your own world or whatever. And
And
it
you
was
run
like,
around.
I think they did that with the PlayStation for a while, didn't they? They had like it was like PlayStation Hub or something like that, where you like had
Home
your
or
own-
whatever it's called.
Yeah,
or
you had
whatever.
your own apartment,
Yeah.
but then you could go out
Really?
in public and chat with people, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was,
So
it was almost like a chat room.
Oh,
Yeah.
they do have that with the VR. So it's funny that you described that, because I know both my children have partaken in this, and my children learn words and now share them. Hey.
But yeah,
yeah,
so
for me,
sure.
VR,
you think
I
it'll
think
be-
that's the future.
Yeah,
See, I think, Dave, I think you're on, and you're right for, like, I would say way into the future. Playing the PS5, it's difficult to see how much better it can get. I'm not gonna lie, it's fucking awesome.
but
And
it's gonna be. There's gotta be,
definitely
right?
going to be, for sure.
Yeah.
And what, like, how I see, I think for the next generation or two, we'll kind of see this weird split where we'll have these, like, quote unquote old school gamers that play like we do, but then you'll have VR, more immersive experiences. And I think there will always probably be a bit of a separation for that. I'm not sure on what the ratio will look like, but I think we'll see something like that. But eventually, I think what it looks like is very much what Dave is saying, where, like, moving into a VR space. But I think also all of our media is going to start to represent that as well. So it's not just going to be games you're playing. Like, you're going to start to see movies get integrated into it. So that way you're, living the movie or whatever that
Well,
looks
we're already
like.
seeing the 3D in theaters and start to actually, and I know
Right.
they kind of tried on the tellies and it never really worked out, but
Yeah.
if you integrate with that VR, the gaming with that,
For sure. And you think about it, like, throughout our time, we've seen so many stop starts with VR. Like, everybody's like, and 3D for that matter. Oh, this is it. This is the generation. And then it fizzles out, right? It's like,
hell yeah.
VR boy or the VR, whatever. I think that's different now. I think, I mean, with the success of the Oculus, with the success of the PSVR, with other companies that are trying to bring up, like, frick, man, people are making it so you can literally put your cell phone in a case and have a VR experience.
Oh, yeah,
like,
those things.
right?
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, like, I think we're past the days of just saying it's a gimmick. Like,
Yeah.
it's more than that now. The question is, how do we move to that well?
I'd like to see it go where Dave's saying, because I know you can watch Netflix and whatnot inside the PSVR, but it's still not an immersive experience. Like, if you're watching, imagine watching the Star Wars or something like that, and it literally feels like you're sitting beside Chewbacca flying in the Millennium Falcon.
Right.
Well, I think they need to go, because they do this at, like, the theme parks and stuff like that, like Universal and Disney. They call it 4D. So you sit in a box that's moving.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So I think they'd have to find a way to incorporate that into, like, actual physical
I got you.
movement and feel,
Yeah.
as opposed to just having the headset, and because there's still that tactile thing that's missing to make it completely immersive.
Okay, yeah.
Right there. Yeah, I got you.
So I think that would be, and maybe that's been thought of, because they do that in movie theaters now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They have the D box or whatever the hell it's called.
Well, one
buy
step,
a certain amount of seats.
You can go one step further, and this is a little while back, but I'm sure it's happening now. In Korea, they had movie theaters with the 40 box, all that sort of stuff. But then they even had, like, a smell sprays and water
They do
sprays.
that.
Yeah, I think they're doing that now. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You get sprayed their little mist of water and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember that happening. That's old school Disney, like Walt Disney World shit. There was a
Really?
Muppets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there was a Muppets. It wasn't like a ride or anything like that. It was more like a show. So you go into like a theater kind of setting. And you have 3D glasses. I think it was called Muppets 3D, actually. and like Fozzie Bear would come up on the screen or something like that, and he'd be like, "Hey, smell my flower," and it would squirt you with water, and out of the back of the seat in front of you, a squirt of water goes right in your friggin' eye.
Nice.
Yeah, shit like that, right? So that was,
sure.
yeah, it was. So yeah, they are doing that. I think now in.
Oh,
I think
sure.
they have one in London.
Oh, wow.
Mistaken.
Oh yeah, the D-box seats. Yeah.
Oh, the D-box.
But no,
have.
with what Chris is talking with the next level,
Just,
the smells and the stuff like that. I think they're doing that.
Wait,
somewhere in London.
Can you drink alcohol in the theater too? Like, can you all those?
Only if you go to the VIP. Only
that's just not. That's a London thing, eh? Yeah, in some of the Toronto ones, you can't actually drink in any of the theaters.
Oh, in any of them.
Yep.
Wow.
There are a few. There are a few locations. Not right now because of this other thing. What's it called? COVID. That's it.
Oh, that's right. You mean our internal grounding?
Well, Westmount. Westmount has the VIP section where you can
they do.
have beers and stuff like that in there.
Yeah. That is London. We don't have the anybody can mix thing yet.
Yeah. Well, and now we're at the point where you can literally buy a D-box for home, and it's not even like that much money, all things considered. So, like,
do you want to spend like a $800 on a PS5 and then another $500 on a chair?
Some people do,
that wiggles
right?
around.
I know. Well, that's the thing, though, right? Like if that's your entertainment and that's what you do, then yeah.
I think there's a market, but I don't think there's a mass market for it.
Yeah,
not yet.
Not yet, but I think it'll get there. Like these gaming chairs, like this one I have here, they're becoming more popular. They're cheaper to buy. Like, I mean, it's like not yet, but I think it's coming. I think it's coming. I think that's like. I mean, we all want to just live in holodecks anyway, right? I mean, that's what
the day will come for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Not in our lifetime, but
that's where video games. That's where video games should go. There you go. Yeah. That's where video games need to go. That would be.
That's why I think VR is that first step. Yeah, VR, sure. And then it'll be that interaction with the VR because they already can do the bubbles and things like that when you're using the actual VR stuff, and then the response and the impacts. And...
Agreed. And you also got
then I guess it would be that Ready Player One sort of thing because they had the haptic suits, right? They had the gloves and the suit that gave you the haptic feedback. So that would be where video games should and
that's I think the logical
extrapolation,
extrapolation for sure. Like, and also you got to think too, public integration, right? Like, right now people are going to go out and buy. Not everybody's buying VR headsets and D-box and all that sort of stuff, but little by little, more and more people get involved, and then it becomes a mass market, and then that's what.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a TV. Everybody has whatever you need, and there's different levels, and
I think the one problem is needing a dedicated because there'd be so much machinery that would go into making that work, right? Like hydraulics and all that jazz. You'd need a dedicated spot for that. Whereas now you can put that controller away, or you can put that VR headset away.
That's
true.
Or
any peripheral, even with the Wii and stuff like that, you could put all that stuff away and hide it. Whereas with one of these chairs, you would need a dedicated spot.
Yeah. And
that's probably why it hasn't made it home, unless you're big rich person and you have a home theater or whatever. Something like that. Yeah.
Well, you bring a good point too, because one of the biggest drawbacks with VR, at least maybe not for the Oculus, I know for the PS VR, is you do need the space in your home for it.
Oh, you do.
If you don't have the space, then I mean, like if you're like a small apartment, it's not going to work for you. So you can't have everybody having a VR machine right now, right?
I wouldn't say you need that much though.
Yeah, right? That is the one nice
like having
thing.
A D-box, you'd need a good 6x6 or 10x. You need an area.
Yeah.
Because
how much, Dave?
You're going to be the only one experiencing it, right?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Dave, how would you say? How much space do you need for your Oculus? Do you think?
Well, that's the nice thing with the Oculus. You only need what you can reach because you can actually make it so that way you don't move. So it actually has a built-in technique to help protect you. So one thing it doesn't have is roof.
Oh.
So for my son, no issue at all. My daughter will periodically, bam, oh my head. And of course I keep saying the same, don't punch up so hard. And she's like, but I'm playing the video game. All right, it's your hand.
Honestly, that'd be cool. I'd like to see Nintendo come up with something like that and have like Super Mario VR.
Well, they
You
kind of
are
did.
Mario. You look up and
Oh.
there's the block,
Yep.
and you hit the block, and you look down and you can jump on the little mushroom dudes or go down
Yep.
the warp pipes and stuff. That would be a trip.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
As
what I
cool
want to
as-
see next.
Yeah, man, that'd be awesome. That'd be
Well, because
awesome.
I have to admit, that's one thing I'm looking forward to is actually being able to get in the backyard. Our Wi-Fi reach is out there, so it can literally be full tilt. All right, everybody, let's really enjoy having the Oculus here, and let's actually full tilt. We'll have the space. We can jump as high as we want. Let's give it a go.
Get
That's
on
Whereas
it.
cool.
right
That'd be
now,
neat, yeah.
can't do it.
It's really great, man.
Oh yeah,
Have a
once I
VR
make sure
party.
it's actually safe, it's going to be one of those things of, hey, everybody come over. We'll have a barbecue and play Oculus.
I love
A
it.
VR BQ.
A VR
barbecue,
barbecue.
exactly. Well, AJ, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you may be waiting a while for what Nintendo's going to do when it comes to VR, because their last thing that they did was the Labo creations, which is cool. These cool
Yeah.
cardboard cutout things that you could do stuff with your VR. So, Dave, Labo, just so you know, they made these like cardboard designs that you could basically do like robotics and different styles of games with these cardboard pieces you could build with your kids and have fun. So they tried to do a VR thing where you could like build this little cardboard case, you put the view screen of the Switch in, and then you control it that way. And then they made it integrate with Mario Odyssey and Zelda, the new Zelda, Breath of the Wild. But apparently it was not well executed, and you can't do anything other than view it for the most part, and a lot of people were like really sick about it. So Nintendo's so wacky, they're just going to always continue to do their own thing. So I don't know what we're going to see. You know, I mean, yeah, sometimes we get the Wii, sometimes we get the GameCube. You know what I'm saying?
I'll take it. I'll take it in the in the arcade. It's go to Dave and Buster's. I'll take it in Dave and Buster's or something. Like if it's got to be a big machine or something like that where I got to
That's how it'll start
on the headset.
Well, they already have the little headset-y
be
ones that are
Mario.
attached to the. Yeah, they already have that at some of the game places where they do have the 3D where you get in it, and they do a pretty good job because it's the head thing, and then you get feedback in the strappy controller thing. So it's a decent 3D experience.
I tried that at the rec room at Masonville, and it was it was pretty cool. Like it was definitely much better than again the 90s.
Oh yeah,
polygon kind of thing.
Times.
But yeah, you got I think it was a gun game or something like that where you get to shoot the beasties that were coming for you and you get duck behind stuff, and that was wild. That was cool.
It was
a workout,
nice.
that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a workout, and the big challenge is, of course, that it's often a decent line and not a cheap experience when you actually think of it.
It was like $14-15 or something like
that.
Yeah,
and of course, usually there's other people. Yeah, and there's usually other people there with you, and
waiting.
Fortunately, I was the only one in the little
you got
section
lucky.
at the time. Yeah, I got. I don't know when we went. We must have gone on a weeknight during school or something like that a couple years ago. So that I've experienced, and I think that give me a Nintendo one. Give me Super Mario.
Nice.
One day, buddy. Well, they got the Mario Kart arcade machines now, so I mean,
those are fun. That's just like playing. What is it? What were those, NASCAR or whatever, where you can play with your buddies? Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's all of the machines are connected.
Same idea.
You can play
now I just want to go to Palladium.
Oh yeah, I remember that was my first. I remember going there one. Yeah, that was my
Palladium
first
was
big arcade sort of experience.
For sure. Yeah.
It went from the pool halls and Chuck E. Cheese and the
I
pool
remember
halls
those. I gotcha.
to the Palladium. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, Palladium was the best.
It's like Chuck E. Cheese for big kids.
Yeah, it's pretty much what it was. Yeah. One question I want to bring up, Dave, on your topics here, and it's just because I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
What's a game or system or whatever you'd like to see remade? I think let's start to kind of
a system.
Or no, it doesn't have to be a game
or a game.
Whatever, let's just do game. But yeah.
Yeah, okay, I would say a system is far too large. What game? An old school game that I'd like to see remade. So it's funny because I think they do exist, and I've been too afraid to go out and try it. Wonder Boy,
oh yeah,
I loved that game as a kid, and I think there is a remake out, but I've been scared to try it because my memory of Wonder Boy is just enjoying the game constantly.
I know,
and I'm afraid of.
That's funny you say that. I'm in the same boat. I just saw it recently, and I'm like, I want to, but I don't want to ruin those memories. Like,
yeah,
I played a lot of Wonder Boy 1, 2, and 3. So
exactly.
Yeah. What about you, AJ?
Battletoads.
Oh yeah, nice. Good call.
Oh, it took me a second, but I remember. Yeah.
Battletoads. I'd want or another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game.
That's
Like-
coming out. They're doing one.
But that's more.
Are they
That's more
really?
like a. I wouldn't call that. I'd just say that's more of like an homage to the original kind of arcade style. I want
Fair, yeah.
an actual, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game where you can.
Nice.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
The
But a
classic.
good
I would
one.
love to see
But a
like
good
an
one. I don't want it to be one of
arcadey
those
version of it.
disappointing ones. But yeah, there is a new kind of Turtles in Time-y kind of vibe.
Oh, okay.
One
Nice.
coming out. That'll be.
And correct me
that'll
if
be
I'm
cool.
wrong. Didn't they just do a Battletoads either remake or something for the Xbox? It was exclusive for the Xbox a couple years ago, or something.
Oh, maybe I don't know.
Maybe yeah.
Yeah,
So you
no
might.
idea.
Maybe I
you
missed
gotta-
it.
You gotta get quick on guessing what remakes you want to come out because they're getting made really quick.
Well,
That's
yeah,
true.
it's the same
That's
thing
true.
as movies, as we touched on. It's video games, movies. They know who to sell to.
For sure. Except for the ones I want remade will probably never get remade. But
E.T..
that's okay. No, not E.T.
E.T. Yeah, I want to see a reboot of E.T. but make it good.
God. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Make it like
make
the
it-
greatest Atari 2600 game of all time. Yeah.
Same
Rectify
premise,
it.
but you can get out of the hole.
That's
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Just, you know what? I'll just fix the coding and then you're good. You just release the
Yeah.
game again.
There you
know?
go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure. There's two games for me that I would kill to have remade in modern graphics, and one I think we might see something, but I don't know. So Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is probably my favorite fighting game
Oh, I
of
remember that.
all time.
Yeah.
Fucking love it, love it, love it. And that has not. There's been no re-release of it since its inception back when. So that game I would love to get, or I would take like a collection of Marvel vs. Capcom games. So if they did like DX versus Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, and put them all together. I mean, that Capcom, if you could do that, that'd be awesome. I'd appreciate it.
Wasn't the last one somewhat disappointing though? Marvel
Yeah,
vs.
it was.
Capcom Infinity or whatever the fuck it was called.
Which is why
Wasn't
I want
it
Marvel vs. Capcom
incredibly
2.
disappointing.
Yeah, it was. It was a cash cow and
Yeah.
or cash grab, sorry. And it is sucky. So I'd like them to go and redo that game. And if they could release it on the Dreamcast again, I would be
No.
that was awesome. And then the other game, sorry, go ahead, AJ.
No, go ahead.
The other game would be WWF No Mercy. That
Oh,
game,
Jesus.
wrestling game, I would love to play again on new systems. Now, here's the thing. I don't think we'll ever get that game remade because of all the licensing and all the shit that goes into that sort of stuff. But AEW's wrestling game that's going to be coming out in the next couple year or so, or whatever, 2 years, apparently is using the same developers that worked on that game and the same crew and whatnot. So they're going to try their very best to make their version of No Mercy without all the WWF bells and whistles. So those are
Nice.
probably my two games that I want remade. If I say any other one game that I want remade, it's been remade. It's been remade. And I've probably already added it to my growing back catalog of fucking games that I'm never going to play. So
I'd like to see a different take on Street Fighter, maybe.
yeah,
Maybe less, like a reboot that's maybe a little less cartoony, a little less
Yeah.
anime, a little more Mortal Kombat-y.
that'd be nice.
Sort
Well,
of-
and there
sort of vibe.
you go. Like, how is it we're in 2021? We don't even have a Mortal Kombat versus Street Fighter game. How is that? How do we even live in this timeline right now? Like,
Mhm.
makes no sense, right?
We'll get the
No.
portal gun. We'll find a timeline.
I know. We'll just we'll do it, right? For sure.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, as we're wrapping up, is there anything else we want to touch on when it comes to talking about our old school video game memories?
No, I think I got everything out there. Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love gaming, and in fact, once we're done this podcast, that's probably what I'm going to do. That's fine.
Nice.
I'm sure AJ and I will be on GTA later on tonight or something.
There you go.
Some sort of troublemaking device,
Beating each other up on the Mortal Kombats.
yeah. And I think what we should do as we grow our podcast and move forward, we should definitely start doing some gaming streams. We should definitely
I'll get my
do some
daughter
friends
to
with-
help us out.
Yeah, We could use her help.
Well, she
Could-
said, as
she
I
could
said,
just-
we'll just get her streams and she can show us how to do it.
There you
If she
go.
can, if she can show us how to make a profit, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. No,
Yeah, she's not quite in that boat, but you know.
oh no, I think that'd be fun. That'd be a good time to do because we all love games. And, yeah. Heck
Yeah, for sure.
And for you out there, if you're watching, what are your gaming memories? Are you as old as us? Do you remember all these old systems? Do you have fond memories, or are you new school gamer, or are you just coming into retro gaming and discovering all this stuff that we're talking about now? And what are your thoughts? What are your opinions? What do you care about? And if you're out there and you're feeling, not mentally yourself, just remember something. You matter. You matter in all the ways that count to not only us, but to those that care about you in your life. So if you're feeling, a little unchecked, talk to somebody. That's what they're there for. That's what people are there for. Talk to them. Get your life on track. So until next time, I just want to say thank you so much for hanging out with us and doing our sarcastic distraction thing with us. As always, we're the Gentleman Society of Podcasting. My name is Harvey.
You got Dave.
It's a me, AJ.
Well done.
And if you didn't figure it out, you've been sarcastically distracted. Have yourselves an awesome day. Bye.
Toasty.
Big girl.